Tom Harwood, GB News' Deputy Political Editor, is in Crawley. He's with the People's Panel, absolutely dying to know what the punters in Crawley make of Gary Lineker, of migration in general. Do they think that they're Nazis if they are against illegal migration? Tom, tell me everything.
Well, yes, some big questions to explore today. We're at Oliver's Coffee and Wine, a wonderful cafe just outside Crawley, and I'm delighted to say we can have a few words with manager Chris. And Chris, how's business?
Business is great. It could always be better, but coffee and wine, the cornerstone of modern civilization. We have a great clientele and life is good.
Well, I have to say I had a wonderful bacon sarnie from you this morning, and it served me very well. But let's, without further ado, get on to our People's Panel. The reason we are here, I'm delighted to say we're joined by Roger, Radabe and by Bob. Roger, first of all, what's the issue that is most exercising you at the moment?
Well, I think it's how it's been for a long time for me, and young people can't afford houses. We're having to build as many as a size of Nottingham, you know, to every year to accommodate the number of people coming into the country, and even the people living here can't afford a house. So I think that's something that needs fixing.
Yeah, ties in with the migration question, no doubt. Radabe, how about you?
I'm currently very worried about the division and hatred that's being caused in this country. You know, if you have an opposing point of view to the current narrative being pushed by certain lobbyies and everything, then you are called all sorts of names, and I really resent that. We should respect each other's views and you know, just go along with and get on with each other. At the moment, it's shocking, I think, and people like Lineker, who I'm sure you'll come to shortly, just makes it worse.
And Bob, what is the thing at the top of your mind right now?
Well, I think there are so many things, but there's a terrible decline in the quality of politicians and politics generally over the last few years. We don't seem to be, they talk a lot, we don't seem to be able to achieve anything. We haven't achieved proper Brexit, we haven't achieved a proper agreement on Northern Ireland, we haven't been able to control immigration, we still haven't got our own fisheries back, and we still haven't controlled law and order. And as Roger said, the housing around here, there are houses, thousands and thousands of houses being built, and they're not being built for local people, they're built for people moving into the area because London and the other cities are becoming so crowded.
Well,
there's some decline.
Some really big issues there, but I think it would be remiss for us not to discuss the issue that has been on the front pages of newspapers for the last 5 days, that of the position of a certain BBC sports presenter. Roger, what do you make of Gary Lineker?
Well, Gary Lineker is undoubtedly using his position on Match of the Day to forward his beliefs, and that's fine in a way, but he's saying that he's giving people a voice who haven't got a voice. Well, there's millions of people out there who haven't got a voice. He's been very selective on who he gives a voice to, and there are loads of people waiting for operations on the NHS, people waiting for houses who haven't got a voice. So I think it's you know, very selective of him, and I wonder if it's about Gary Lineker rather than anything else.
Of course, this conversation all started with the new illegal migration bill. Radabe, you came to this country legally, 10 years old, some time ago. Only 10 years, I assume. What do you make of it all?
I agree with what Roger said about Lineker. Firstly, he wouldn't have the platform if he wasn't working for the BBC and didn't have that exposure. So whatever he claims, I think that he's you know, fooling us all. But yes, I came here with my parents, didn't have a say in the matter, but I was brought here by my parents, and love it. I love this country. We've always integrated. We were usually the first Asians in the road, you know. Worked hard all our lives, contributed to the system, and I don't understand why people just think they can roll up on a beach and get everything given to them. There are legal routes. I'm sorry, people who say let's develop legal routes. Well, there are legal routes. I came through on a legal route, and others have. So, you know, I disagree with what's going on our coastline.
Yeah, I suppose it's about that legal process, sticking by the rules of this country. Bob, what do you make of it all?
It's all about Lineker. he's in a dispute with the HMRC about millions of pounds of tax, and I think he's trying to prove he's independent of the BBC, which will help him in his tax dispute. And he's not a person that I admire. I admire his footballing, but I avoid watching him on the BBC, let's put it that way. And I don't buy his crisps either.
Well, on that note, let's turn back to you, Camilla. We'll have plenty more discussion from the People's Panel a little bit later in the show.
Thank you very much for that, Tom. Just to say